Welcome everyone. We have a lot to cover today, so we are going to dive right in. I am going to be sharing with you 4 tips on how to manage your life with small children. After I share the 4 tips, I'm going to give you a lot of little nuggets to take with you along your journey of raising little ones. This is really going to pertain more to the early years. Things start to change a little bit once your kids are in school and they become active. Elementary, middle school, high school. I'm going to be sharing with you what we did in our home. I have mentioned in blog posts and in previous videos that I ran my day in my life like it was my job. It was a business. I never felt intimidated by mothers that worked outside of the home. I never felt like I was doing less than or they were offering more to this world than I was. I believe a lot of the reason why I never had that little bit of insecurity that often stay-at-home moms do have is because I was working. I treated what I did as a job, and I really believe that was the pivotal decision in making our family function and thrive. My husband and I were a team, so I had a great partner to do this with. But today, 4 tips, and then I'm going to expand on those with some extra little tips and tools that you can take along. Number 1 will come as no surprise. Think of your job as a job. View your responsibility as a mom like it's your job and live each day as if it is. Number 2, get up early. I cannot stress this enough. Just like those mothers that do work outside of the home and have to get up, buy an alarm clock, get themselves ready, often get small children off to a daycare or a babysitter before heading to work. If you are a stay-at-home mom, you treat it no differently. You get up early just like you would if you were working outside of the home. Now, this does not mean that you have to get fully ready and do the hair and makeup and look great every single day. We'll get into more of that a little bit later. All I'm saying is you need to get up before the kids, and I recommend 2 hours. I think that would be good because what happens is you are just constantly chasing the day when you don't. If you can get up and start to get things done, it will make for smooth sailing the rest of the day. I promise you, this really is key. I can't stress it enough. If you have a workout routine, get up and get that done then. Throw laundry in, whatever you can do. Do your devotions, do your prayer time. Work on your planner, whatever you need to do, but do it early before the kids get up and around. Like I had said, you don't need to get fully ready every single day. I did, and I really feel it's overrated. I can't believe that I did do that, but that was just how I did things back in those days, but I no longer feel that that is necessary. What I would recommend you do is you look at your week, and we'll talk a little bit more about looking at your week and mapping things out. But you get ready on days that you will be leaving the home and running errands. We all know that even with small children that are still in the home, you still have to leave the home several times throughout the week to do things, grocery shop, appointments, whatever it may be. Those can be your get ready days. And the days that you don't really have any place to go, maybe you can catch up on other things and not put that hour into getting yourself ready. I'm sure your husband is not going to mind that you're not getting ready every single day. I think often we put that pressure on ourselves. It's not anyone else doing it. It's the pressure we put on ourselves. And I talked in a previous video about don't judge yourself. Just stop. It's not what other people think. It's what you think of yourself, and you have to stop with judging yourself. Number 3, have a weekly and daily agenda. If you are living fly by the seat of your pants, you and I both know that is not working for you and that's not serving your family. It never will. You can't run a home like that. Again, this is your job. It's your responsibility to buck up and get your job done. There's no better way to put it. Your weekly and daily agenda needs to be pretty concrete, and it needs to be followed through with every single day. There are trip-ups that take place. We all know that. Kids get sick, things happen. But for the most part, Follow it to a T. This is going to give you structure, discipline, and all the requirements that it takes to have a home that is functioning and thriving. Use calendars, use planners, use daily planning pages, which you can get on my website. Use your computer, use your phone. I really don't care what you are using to create your calendar, your agenda. You have to find what works for you, but use something, because if you don't, you're going to be in disarray, and at some point, it won't be the parents running the home, it will be the children, I assure you. If you are naturally organized like I am, this will come really easy to you. It's a no-brainer. I can organize my day, my week, my month, and my year in my sleep. It may be a learning curve for you, but it needs to be done. When we aren't naturally talented at something, we have to work harder. We have to study, train, implement tools, do a couple sessions with a life coach like me. Whatever you have to do, the reward at the end for your time that you put in, or your money, whatever it is, will make a big difference in the long run. Number 4, and this really goes with number 3, schedule, schedule, schedule. Schedule everything. This is a job, remember? If you had to work in an office, you'd run by a schedule. You need to run by a schedule in your home. For some people, they may think this is overrated. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't work outside the home. I shouldn't have to do all this. Yes, you should. If you're in disarray, this is why. Schedule, schedule, schedule. Schedule everything. Schedule your wake up. Schedule your workout. Schedule laundry, playtime, nap time, lunchtime, bill paying time, dinner making, grocery shopping list making, appointment making, whatever you need to do, it's all scheduled and it's mapped out throughout your week. Bath times, bedtimes, feeding times, playtime, reading time, these all can be at a certain time of the day. And if you're not implementing these and your kids are not acclimated to it, it may take some time. There's a cleanup time. With our kids, we had a cleanup time. You would put a certain song on, and when they heard that song, an hour or two before bedtime, they knew it was time to clean up. Everybody pitches in. What was the song? Was it on Barney or something? Barney was big back in the day. Clean up, everybody clean up, everyone, everywhere, something like that. I can't sing, but it's a chant. You catch me. Everyone cleans up and everyone pitches in, and we'll get more into the responsibility of small children in a little bit. Schedule your self-care, because if mama lets herself go, everything is going to go. Let's expand a little bit on schedules. Schedule all your running on one day and have a plan. Map it out. Make a list of all the places that you need to go to. Pack the lunches, the diaper bag, prepare the bottles, do everything the night before. Set the children's clothes out the night before. Set your clothes out the night before. Then you have a list of all the places that you need to go to. Map it out so that you're not backtracking anywhere. If there are children that nap and will be falling asleep in the car, you plan that. You orchestrate your errand running around that. If you can afford to, you could also hire a babysitter to come on your errand running day. Maybe on errand running day, you don't cook dinner. Maybe that is a set day where you are running all of your errands up until about the time your husband gets out of work. And then you and your husband have a restaurant that you and the kids meet him at for dinner, and that's your night off from having to cook. You could look forward to it every week. This is the day that you can get yourself all ready. I was very routined in my home. There was a structure and a system. I always had a certain time of the day that I ran my errands. I think generally we would leave the house between 8 and 8:30, and I remember doing my errand running to where I would get back in time for nap time. And I always read to my kids before nap time, so that was the cue. When mommy is going to read us stories, we know right after we're going to take a nap. Another tip, have a bathing schedule. A lot of times kids really are confused on when it is their bedtime, but if you design a routine, they will know the sequence of things that follow. For example, it may be dinner time, and after dinner time, it's cleanup time. So you put the song in, all the kids know that they need to pitch in, clean up all of their toys. You may have to teach them this at first, but they'll get it at a very young age. Believe me, kids are a sponge. They can learn anything. We're the ones that can't learn anything because our brains are not wired like theirs. They are a sponge. Take advantage of teaching them things when they're little. Maybe after cleanup, it's bath time. And this is a period of time when you can implement your husband. Maybe 2 or 3 nights a week, he's doing baths and you're doing something else. You work together as a team, you talk about it. Communicate to your husband, I need you, I appreciate your help. And when he is helping, be very careful to critique him. Because if you critique too much, then he could take it as a negative and he'll no longer want to do it. The best thing that you can do if you want your husband to be a team with you is be encouraging and supportive and just be thankful. Hey, I really don't care how you give them a bath. If they're clean, I'll take it. Sometimes we have to lower our expectations and in some areas our standards as well. And the kids don't need to have a bath every single night. Again, who are you trying to live to be validated by, or who are you trying to impress? It's okay to say, my kids don't get a bath every single night. You can't sweat it. You have to do what works for you. We had 5. It just wasn't going to happen, folks. It just wasn't. And I didn't worry about what anybody else would think. But bring hubby on board, and if he's not helping you and you want more help, quit nagging. Nagging gets you nowhere. No one likes a nag. No one. I have never been impressed when I have heard a woman or girl, whatever, young mom, speak ill of her husband or talk negative about how he is not helping. It always makes me want to question the person saying it. What have you done to create a team in your home? It's so easy to point the finger at your husband, but I'm questioning what you're doing. Put your heads together, get the job done. Next tip, don't neglect self-care. This is a biggie, and we are doing it all. We really are, and it's taxing, especially if you are a mom working outside of the home. I've been on both ends, and they're both hard. They really are, but I will tell you that I had to be way more structured and disciplined and on my game when working outside of the home and balancing both. I can say that because I've been on both ends. I can't really say my responsibilities changed much. And again, if you have the help with the husband, that helps. But you can't sleep in just because you might be a little bit tired one day. Not when you're working outside the home. So there's challenges with that for sure. But don't neglect self-care. Get your workouts in. I know you're tired, but get them in. It's worth it. Implement good self-care routines, skincare, do your nails, do a face mask, keep up with your hair. Don't let yourself go. You'll regret it. You really will. We all know those moms that, they're in the home and they're raising kids and they just start to let themselves go. Don't do it. And the other tip I want to say is quit eating the kids' food. The goldfish is not adult food. Cheez-Its is not adult food. Get out of their fruit snacks, okay? That's such a bad habit. It really is. The children's food is the children's food. The more you stay out of the Kraft macaroni and cheese and the Tyson chicken nuggets, the better off you are going to be. Eat adult food. Let the kids eat the kids' food. You can thank me later when you start to drop a few pounds. I'm just saying, because it's true. If you're going to be eating the crap food, you're going to have a crap diet and you're going to look and feel like crap. There's no better way to put it. Going back to the cleanup song, as early as possible, have your kids cleaning up after themselves. They can set out their bath stuff. If you've taught your 3-year-old how to set out her bath stuff, I guarantee you, when you tell her to go set her bath stuff out and get ready for bath and take her clothes off and put them in the dirty clothes hamper, she can do it. Believe me, at 3. I know this. I had 5 children. As soon as possible, create a daily schedule for your kids. If you need to use an app, use an app. What I did with my kids early on was I did use an app called Cozy. I'm not going to share with you how I used it. You can get on there and figure it out yourself. It's a free app. You can color code. I resourced that until I got a little bit better with computers, and then I had a folder on the desktop of my computer with each child had their own folder, and inside each folder on my computer desktop was a document for each day of the week. And a lot of times their chores stayed the same. Start this as early as possible. I do have videos in my YouTube library where I share all this. Resource the material that I already have out there. And if any of this seems too much or too confusing, book a session with me. Book 3, book 4. I'll get you on board, I assure you. And again, do this when they're little because it will pay off later on. Who do you want running the home? Dinner. Don't plan the day of. Don't do it because it's going to be disarray. You plan ahead of time. If you are going to have something tomorrow that requires chicken breast, you can't wait till tomorrow to make that decision. First of all, you could be running to the store. It's not errand running day. If you know what it's going to be the night before, and you have it documented that early in the morning you need to set the chicken breast out to thaw because it had been in the freezer, again, this is where you're implementing the planner, the planning pages, whatever it is, things will get done. So have a system. Meal plan a week ahead of time. I always knew what we were having the whole week because I knew what the schedule was. I knew what days we were running errands. I knew what days I wasn't going to cook. So we were going to meet or we were going to get takeout. I have a video coming up very soon where I am going to share with you what we did in our home as far as grocery shopping, including the grocery shopping budget, and how we did dinner in our home. It may surprise some of you as to what time we used to eat dinner when we had all of the kids in the home. Again, the 3 oldest are out of the home. We only have 2 left in the home. I have blog posts as well. I will have linked down in the drop-down box of this video as many videos and blog posts that I can remember or find, but you need to watch those. Binge watch them, really. If you want to wrap your head around a system that works, binge watch those videos, and if you need more, I'm your person. Book a session with me. Breakfast stuff, set it out the night before. This is another thing that hubby can do, and he may not do it perfect, but be thankful it's being done, right? Right? Again, just be thankful for the help. You know, I did have a period when our kids were little, and I had a cleaning lady, and I had her for about 8 years, and then I didn't have her for like the next 8 because we had kids in travel sports and we had kids in parochial schools, and sometimes you have to make changes when that happens because your money goes towards other things. So I had a cleaning lady. Did I have her for about 8 years? I don't know if I had her that long. Maybe it was only like 4. Well, anyway, I do have her back, but she's on an on-call basis because, again, the resources are there again. But for a while, the resources had to go towards other things. Maybe that is something that you can look into. Talk it over with your husband. Maybe that's your errand running day. That is what we did. I had everything prepared the night before, had the cleaning lady stuff set out. When she came, that was errand running day, and we also ate dinner out on that day. So we had a system. We had a game plan. Execution and follow through. That was really what it was about. Little ones nap at different times, and as soon as possible, you need to get them as close as you can to the same nap schedule. But we all know that an infant may take 2-3 naps a day, and a toddler may take 1. Well, if you can make one of those naps at the same time, that would be key. Can it be done? Yes, it can. I know because I've had 5. The other thing that you can do is while the infant is sleeping, maybe your toddler and preschool have what you call quiet time. This is when they have quiet playtime in their room, maybe separate rooms and not together, which is a very positive thing for children to learn to do, to entertain themselves. We are in a society where there's constant stimulation that children don't even know how to be creative or do things for themselves because they have constant stimulation. Maybe when the baby is sleeping, the other 2 children that don't nap at that time can go to their room and they have quiet time. This doesn't mean they have an iPad. This doesn't mean they're watching a movie or watching a show on television. It's quiet time. They can do Legos, build blocks, look at books. whatever it may be, but it's quiet time and maybe time on their own. Color, do a puzzle. And it's okay for you to say, this is mommy's quiet time as well. And you're going to do something for your self-care or get your workout in. If the kids know this is happening on a daily basis, there's no tug of war. There's no tug of war. Create a family calendar as early as you can and color code for every member of the family. I will have a video talking about that. I will have a blog post where I talk about that as well. It's the command center. So please resource those before leaving a lot of questions in the comment section, because there's a really good chance I already have out there what you are looking for. The other thing that's really important is mom and dad come first. They always did in our home. They still do, always have, and always will. That's a big mistake that wives do make, is they put the kids before the husband. Now, I understand that they have needs and we physically have to care for our children. We don't for our husband. But it's really important for young children to start to see the importance of the relationship between mom and dad. They need to see respect. You are leading by example, and again, they are sponges. So they are watching everything. They are watching how you are talking to your husband. If you are belittling him because of the way he is doing things, your kids are watching. Eventually, it won't be them that's going to look bad. It'll be you in their eyes that will look bad. Kids will pick up on this, and as they get older, they get much smarter. It's amazing. Disagreements should be saved for later on when the children are no longer around. I do think it's healthy for kids to see mom and dad in action. When you have 5, you can't go in your bedroom every time you have a disagreement. But if it was a disagreement that had anything to do with the children, we were not going to have that in front of them, because that's giving them mixed signals. So be very careful with that, and especially when they're little, because they are watching, they're picking up. You are the example setter here. A little tip that I want to share on interrupting, and I'm going to have to make this the last tip because this video is getting long, but this is something that we did in our home, and it's really been kind of nice because your kids remember the things that you do in your home, and it's really neat when you see them implement them with their own children. Now, none of my girls have kids of their own, but my oldest daughter is engaged to be married next May, and her fiance Tim has a daughter, Kaylee. Now, Kirsten, my oldest daughter, has been in Kaylee's life since she's been, I believe, 2. I could be a little off, 2 or 3, and Kaylee is now 9. But the little tip that I'm going to share with you, she implements this with Kaylee. And it's just nice to see when your kids do things. And it's just, this is such a great thing. If I was a teacher, this is something I would do. And I don't even know where I picked it up at, but you don't let your kids interrupt, no matter who you're speaking with. Let me back up. In an emergency, yes, but I'm talking every day, okay? I don't know that I've ever been interrupted because it was an emergency. So you know how many of the actual emergencies you get, but you teach your children that they never interrupt, because that's rude. It's not polite. And I will say that is a pet peeve of mine when I am speaking with someone, and let's say they have a 3-year-old and their 3-year-old comes up to them and it starts talking to them, and they will literally quit talking to me and look at their 3-year-old. Well, being a parent and putting a lot of emphasis on people skills, when I observe that, I know right there that you are not teaching your child really good personal traits. So one of the things that we did, and I loved it, was we did the hand on the shoulder. So an example would be, and let's go back to mom and dad having a conversation. Husband comes home from work. He's talking to me about his day. I'm talking to him about my day. We're in communication. 3-year-old daughter wants mom's attention. Maybe she needs a drink. Maybe she needs to go to the bathroom. Whatever it may be. Well, interrupting is unacceptable because mom is talking to dad and we don't interrupt. The 3-year-old would put her hand on my shoulder, so that's what the kids learn to do. They don't tap. There's no, or tapping on my leg. None of that was ever tolerated. Hand goes on shoulder, and we don't even motion and say just a minute. because again, we should not be rudely interrupting the person we're speaking with. Child puts hand on shoulder, I'm still talking to their father. When I am done, I would look and say, yes, McKenna, what do you need? Then she would tell me. But interrupting was never tolerated. So that's a big tool that I want to share. Start this when they're young. Start it when they're young. There's so many things that I would recommend doing when your children are young. There's also things that I wish I would have done when the kids were little as well. So you're never going to be perfect. The perfectionistic pitfall. It's never perfect, and it's all a learning process. Cut yourself some slack, but get a schedule going. Be a team with your husband, and don't judge yourself. I say this all the time, and I'll be saying it more. Quit judging yourself. You're doing well. This is a tough job. It's the toughest job you'll ever have, and it's the longest job you'll ever have. So there you have it, managing your life with small children. 4 tips and a lot of expanding on those tips. Don't forget, I just did a video recently talking about what to expect when you are expecting, or what to expect when you arrive home with a newborn. That video also talks about things to consider prior to bringing a baby into the world, or prior to a pregnancy, and also some tips if you are a grandparent or you are a soon-to-be grandparent. So that video has a lot of great content. You can get to that video right up here or in the drop-down box of this video. I have so many videos and blog posts linked below. Please check them out. I tried to title them as best I could from memory of what I shared in those videos. But it really is structure, discipline, having a system, being a team. Those really are the big key components. When the kids get a little bit older and they're in school and you're running to lessons and practices and recitals and all of these things, it gets even busier. So if you can have something, a plan designed and stick to it when the kids are little, everything is really smooth sailing after that. I assure you, really, this is when you need to really put the work in. It's very important. Also, stay tuned. That video will be coming very soon on how we did the grocery shopping budget, and how we did dinners in our home, and kind of what we're doing now as well. So lots of great content. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comments, suggestions, please share this video. Get it out there. Get out all these videos. We're helping people become better people, and I think in this crazy world, we need it. So thanks for joining me. I will see you soon in the next video. Take care.